to an update from Wisconsin where new video shows an ICE arrest in Milwaukee, but it all started in the county courthouse.
Judge Hannah Dugan is accused of trying to help Eduardo Flores Ruiz evade ICE agents.
Judge Dugan will be free. As word spread Friday of Judge Hannah Dugan's arrest.
What happens when a judge stops being a judge and starts playing politics in a black robe?
Has asked all flags to be flown at half-staff, and right now a memorial continues to grow around the squad. Officers' corridor
saw the FBI arresting a Wisconsin judge. Federal authorities say the judge helped a man sneak out of her courtroom as federal agents were closing in.
Milwaukee's Judge Hannah Dugan isn't just making bad decisions, she's making dangerous decisions. Decisions that can have real consequences, deadly consequences. I mean, basically a cop was killed, but let me take a step back. You have a judge allegedly helping a guy dodge ICE in broad daylight. And just when you think the plot can't get any crazier, then boom, she greenlights a plea deal for a dude who police say ambushed and shot 2 Milwaukee cops. One of them is never making it back home.
I was devastated with the news, hoping he was gonna pull through, but unfortunately, he passed away.
Going back to the undocumented guy, he was charged with domestic violence. ICE rolls in, ready to arrest him, and what does the judge do? She pulls a Houdini and helps him dip out the back. Really important, because real talk, this can be costing you or your family money. A lot of money. I'm turning 41 this year, and my parents, they're dealing with the Medicare situation right now, and it's very confusing. It's messy. It's like trying to do your taxes while blindfolded. But here's the thing. Some of these Medicare companies, they're getting hit with federal investigations for scamming seniors, straight up robbing people. That's why I teamed up with Chapter. They're not under investigation, they're doing things the right way. Chapter compares every single Medicare plan available. We're talking about over 24,000 options. And they don't just push whatever plan makes them a commission. They help you find the one that actually works for you. You talk to a real person, the help is always free. And on average, folks who use Chapter are saving over $1,100 a year. Call 262-454-0419. Again, that is 262-454-0419. You can check out the link in the description box below or in the pinned comment. Listen, the system is already rigged in so many ways. Don't let healthcare be another one. Now, let's get back to the video. This is crazy, totally crazy. She allegedly directed staff to sneak him out of the building. That's not just speculation. The feds slapped her with an indictment for obstruction. And if that were the only red flag, maybe we could chalk this up to one-time lapse in judgment. But nope. Judge Dugan said, literally, hold my gavel, we're gonna continue to do some crazy stuff. Because weeks later, she cuts a soft deal for a guy named Tremaine Jones, a man who, according to police, went to ambush and shoot 2 Milwaukee cops. This isn't just bad luck.
We've had a loss of life and the shooting of another person. And it could have been much worse because this started off with you allegedly shooting in a building.
This is a judge that's turning the bench into a circus ring. Someone is dead right now. Someone died from this. So we're gonna take a closer look at these decisions because I think they are absolutely horrendous. Let's go back to March 2024. So this Flores Ruiz, he's in her courtroom, he's undocumented, and he's facing domestic violence charges. Let me repeat, domestic violence charges. ICE is outside, paperwork is ready, but Dugan starts to get theatrical. She confronts agents, demands a judicial warrant she knows isn't needed, and reportedly has staff sneak him out the back. That's not being a public defender. Mind you, that's not her client. She's the judge, not a lawyer. What this judge is being is basically an escape room host. Now she's federally charged. She pleads not guilty, of course, but the evidence isn't looking too great. This isn't a legal gray area. This is a red zone fumble. Judges are supposed to be neutral. Judges are supposed to be like umpires in baseball. They're supposed to call balls and strikes. They're not supposed to jump on the field and start swinging the bat. That doesn't make any sense. She didn't know what ICE knew. She didn't ask, she didn't care. It was all about making a point, a political point, and not really about making a difference. Now ask yourselves, if this dude went out to hurt someone, who would take the blame? That's what made this judge so dangerous. Not just her decisions, but her complete disconnect from risk. She turned the courtroom into a sanctuary not for the innocent, but for anyone that she vibes with politically. That's not being brave, that's being reckless. So let's fast forward. Despite being under federal heat, she stays on the bench, and here comes the dangerous, deadly encore. Meet Tremaine Jones. In 2021, he was hit with resisting arrest and stealing a car. Not exactly a misunderstood teen, more like a grown-ass man stacking a lot of red flags, making a lot of bad decisions, very violent decisions. Instead of going to jail, he gets a deferred prosecution deal. Basically, behave, don't cause trouble, and your record gets wiped away like a whiteboard. And guess who rubber stamped that deal in April 2025? Yes, Judge Dugan. Then June hits. Jones allegedly ambushes 2 officers. 1 killed, 1 is hanging on. The police say it wasn't random. This was an ambush. This was a calculated setup. This is not some wrong place, wrong time type of story. This is a cautionary tale about soft justice gone sideways. And Dugan, she signed that deal while under indictment, already making headlines. Already the whole city is watching her actions, and she doesn't care. This cop died because this guy probably should have been in prison, but he wasn't. He was out in the streets and he ambushed those 2 cops.
Okay, so the defendant went over to a location with a rifle. He fired it in the air. He is alleged, according to the criminal complaint as witnesses, he fired it into an apartment building. One thing that is not mentioned in the criminal complaint is that there were children in that apartment building and in that apartment. He then goes and waits in bushes, and when 2 officers go and are just doing their jobs, he opens fire on them.
You can't be that deep in hot water and then still tossing out leniency like it's party favors. This wasn't reform. This was roulette. Deferred prosecution has its place for first-time offenders, for people who show some level of change, not for dudes who think Grand Theft Auto is a resume builder. Dugan made that call with the full picture in front of her and still press go. The result? 1 officer is dead, gone. 1 is recovering. And 1 judge still ducking accountability. But this is the bigger picture. She didn't just slip up once. This seems like a pattern. She created this pattern. Helping an immigrant man escape ICE. Cutting a very soft deal for a repeat offender. Doing all this while being indicted herself. This is not empathy. This is a manifesto. Judge Dugan is not serving justice. She's freelancing on her own ideology. You want mercy? Cool. But mercy without foresight is how these strategies happen and continue to happen. And let's be honest, she had every chance to hit pause, recuse herself, show some level of restraint, but restraint doesn't play on your political values, apparently. She can't be the umpire. She can't just call balls and strikes. She has to put her ideology into the justice system. And we saw what happened. She greenlights a cop shooter's exit plan, and now families are grieving. That officer doesn't get a second chance. His family doesn't get a do-over.
He wanted to dive into this line of work at such a young age, and I asked him why. He's like, I just feel like it's my calling.
Officer Kendall Corder was called to serve.
He was a good person all around.
His friend Amanda Alicki remembers Officer Corder's life and conversations they had before his line of duty death.
And every time I ran into him, he said, I still like what I'm doing.
Dugan made herself the story twice, and both times the ending was a complete disaster. This isn't just about being tough on crime. It's about being realistic, about threats. And when Tremaine Jones showed a pattern, and so is this judge. So I don't know what's going on. It's completely crazy situation here. We need to figure out what's going on. Now it's up to the people in that area to decide how many lives they're willing to risk for someone who confuses activism with accountability. Let me know what you guys think about this in the story in the comments below. If you're interested in this type of content, hit subscribe. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.